Hey folks, I hope you're doing well because we're gonna get a little bit unwell.
What?
Lead inZOI, sorry, that was stupid, I'm sorry. Lead inZOI dev Kjun has just done the unthinkable. He actually said The Sims name in vain. He spoke glowingly of the franchise, and as you would imagine, he was dragged in the comments. Wait, no he wasn't. People are actually praising his humility and relating their own experiences with the beloved series. What the hell? Okay, but when I try to take a neutral stance from a pro-consumer perspective, I get the rocks thrown at me? Alright, well it wasn't that bad, it was just a small group of people, but still. A few videos back, I argued that inZOI didn't need to be the Sims killer in order for them to be successful. They'll just need to carve out their own part of the metaphorical pie. If the Sims series is to die out, then I feel that was a decade's process of their own making, subtly pushed off a bridge due to competition. That said, there are some companies that are way too big to fail. Regardless of how you feel about where the Sims series is now versus your excitedness for inZOI, and trust me, I'm on board with that too, but take a moment to step back, take a breath, and don't fight to the death for a game or a company you're not familiar with yet, and recognize that even lead devs like Kjun can draw inspiration from somewhere. Now, you're probably angry typing because I said something about defending companies, and you'll know my take on that later in the video because some of you need some cold water splashed on your face, but for now, let's talk about Kjun's final concern. Just to preface, I'll be going over the highlights. If you'd like to see the full version, see the link in the description. Kjun titled his dev blog The Final Chapter as he enters his Kevin Durant arc. He reflects on his continued journey in making inZOI, and he's reminded by the unique obstacles he's faced, as well as venturing well beyond his realm of expertise. In the midst of all of this, he feels nervous of what lies ahead. He says, "Looking back at myself 2 years ago when I first decided to embark on this project, I can't help but smirk knowing how recklessly brave I was to even think about creating a game of this scale. Now I understand why so few companies have attempted to develop a life simulation game. The challenge isn't additive, the more you try to build, it's exponential. At a certain point, finding bugs in this vast world we've created feels like we're playing tag with invisible ghosts. And to add to that, more broadly speaking, the expectations are immense. If we consider that Krafton is not above its fair share of controversy in regards to their flagship game PUBG, there are legitimate concerns here. No one knows that better than the PUBG community themselves, or the seemingly well-received game Moonbreaker that looks to be abandoned, with players wishing Krafton would continue funding development and hammering bugs out of their existing games. I bring this all up to convey that there are internal and external pressures if this game is to endure early access development, and what Kjun has stated to be over a 10-year project over the course of its lifespan. Do we trust that they'll be backed for all that time? Yes, dev teams and their publishers contribute to different areas of game development, yet skepticism helps ground us as consumers and end users. To invalidate genuine good faith arguments would be looking through rose-colored glasses. Yup. There's so many factors that go into making a successful life sim, so much so that at this scale, it just hasn't been done before. Kjun reflects on that and his journey, and we should be appreciative that a lead dev can have that degree of introspection. He goes on to say, "I have to say it again, the Sims team deserves endless praise for their incredible achievements. As a longtime game developer, I can only express my deepest respect and admiration for what they have accomplished in this genre. And it would be disingenuous of us not to say these two games in the same sentence, to compare and contrast them. It would be uncharitable to not include the humble beginnings and inspirations that led to Kjun being inspired by the Sims games. Not my assumptions, but his admittance through countless interviews. To harken back to the Sims, to credit the Sims, to be at awe at what they've innovated before, not just lends him insight, but should duly encourage us as consumers to think critically about both products, and hopefully empower us to make more informed decisions. Microtransactions and exploitative business practices thrive when we, the consumer, easily forgo our buying power on hype alone." He continues to say, "From the bottom of my heart, thank you for your love and contributions to inZOI. If by good fortune the game reaches the level of success I hope for, I'd love to share my untold stories of Kjun and The Sims, the real reason I set out to create inZOI in the first place."
Don't be shocked. You're shocked? You're shocked?
He's one of our own, he's one of our own. Kjun He's one of our own. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse with microtransaction horse armor on, but to say inZOI's framework, its genetic code, holds no semblance of Will Wright's previous works is just... give me a synonym for disingenuous. He's committed to this working out because he's approaching this from our perspective as Sims players. And I, for one, would love to see that kind of blog where he talks about that relationship he's had with the Sims games and just how they impact his game and his decision making. I can't wait for the next DLC Hellscape Crafton's got cooking up. I'm joking, of course. Dear God, make that not true. I hope that's just... I can't believe I just spoke that into the ether. I am regretting it, but seriously, I'm just hoping for the best here. But more on that later. He says, with just 1 month left, the next 4 weeks will be the most intense development period for the game. To fully dedicate myself to this final push, I'll be stepping away from my usual communications with all of you, but don't worry, I'll see you soon at the inZOI online showcase, where I'll finally reveal everything you've been waiting to hear. I want to include this because this is essentially when we should get pricing details, language support details, and even possibly a content roadmap. He finishes his post by saying, by the time I return to writing, Kjun's concerns may have turned into Kjun's remorse. Hopefully not, but either way, I'm happy to announce the end of this chapter and open up the start of our next one, where he would eventually land on the Phoenix Suns of all things. Okay, now that that's over, it's time for my rant. It's time for my confessional, my tell-all, which I'm quite sure will lose a good group of people, but gosh darn it, it's necessary to say. As I alluded to in my wind-up to this, my perspective, where I base my mindset on our gaming hobby that we all share, is that from a pro-consumer standpoint. And I know that's gonna set a lot of people off because I won't stroke you.
Hold up, wait a minute. Wow.
What I'm trying to say here is that in order to safeguard ourselves from the clutches of greed, manipulation, and egregious monetary exploitation, you and I, but mostly you, joking, us, we have to do the work and treat this game as a game, not a bludgeoning tool that we use to draw lines between fan bases. It's fun to throw shade, I get it, deservingly and perhaps more so on The Sims 4 due to their decades worth of behavior. Good banter helps improve all sides, I think. That's the hope anyway. But to go insular, to box ourselves in to hear only the good things instead of honest good faith critiques, if this inZOI community is to be different than what we're deciding to leave behind or to play less of, I'm referencing The Sims 4 here, we need to hold companies and even devs to task, should they deserve it. And I'm not saying to send hate to anybody or to individualize something or anything. What I am saying is that communities do better when they can reflect and be introspective without fear of being harangued. When a game or company doesn't have to defend itself, but rather uses people, regular people like you and me, to run defense for them and use us as their attack dogs, then they never have to answer for anything. It is better then to be open-minded enough to admit to faults and want a game to improve. If you're truly behind a game or a product you believe in, you dare it to do better, not coddle it because it may hurt your feelings. Otherwise, if you shun that and you close the door on good faith critiques, then your community is just another Sims 4 toxic positivity insular community, but with better graphics. When you so easily surrender your buying power, you open yourself up to quick, easy monetary cash grabs. I want inZOI to be different and not nickel and dime us, and I am hopeful they won't. Consider it foolish to hope so, but I hope you can see that in every video I make about this game, that like you, I'm really excited. But I stress caution and encourage diligence, as well as welcome strong good faith criticisms. I don't know about you, but as someone who lives paycheck to paycheck, I don't have the kind of money to be so bullish about a game that's not even out yet. What I have seen so far looks really, really good, and I'm hoping it stays that way. And right now, I am excited. I've said it before and I'll say it again, should inZOI be what it says it is, then their success is good for the gaming industry. If not, we should have an open conversation as to why not. Either way, I want to thank you all so much for watching. I do appreciate that. And I appreciate you. And I hope to see you in the next one, whatever the next one may be. So until then, I will see you then. Bye for now. Alright, for the real ones who stayed, I want to give you a personal message. This channel has taken off because of you, and I am forever grateful, and I feel like I've said that a million times over in different videos and in different posts, but I mean it each time. I'm unsure how we got here, and this whole thing has thrown me into a tailspin. I used to make videos for friends and family and for like a handful of people, but now it's just different. And all of this is to say that I know that this video is kind of spicy, but I want you to know where I'm coming from and just who I am in all of this. I might say something that upsets you, and that's not from a place of malice, but rather in hopes that a game does better. And in a world where we're constantly drawing lines in the sand, it's important to realize that what we're talking about are computer games. So enjoy what you enjoy, certainly, but it's not your everything. You mean more than whatever they can give. When you accept that, then it becomes harder for them to keep digging into your wallet. At any rate, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.